Good morning. I'm Ruben Echanova, Chair of the Housing Action Coalition's Executive Committee, and also Director of Development for New Projects at Mission Housing, where last year, I'm proud to say, our project Valencia Gardens, a 260-unit development, received the National AIA HUD Secretary's Award for Housing. And along with that, I'm also Vice President for the Building Inspection Commission. But more importantly, we're here today to really launch this amazing yearly and annual event of our Housing Summit. And this is our third annual Housing Summit, and this is just a terrific, terrific turnout. And we're thrilled that you're here with us today, and one of our key functions is community education. And we're proud to continue that tradition with this public forum. Your participation in this event is also testimony to our mission. How can we work together in a collective way in the same direction to find solutions to the housing and land use challenges that face our city? Because with HAC, we tend to find solutions that are in the center of both housing and also on issues in a city like San Francisco. The need for a group such as ours is even more important and of a greater need. But before we get going, there's something I'd like for you to draw your attention to, and that's the extraordinary list of sponsors for this event. Their names are listed before you, and also behind you is a testimony of their work and their dedication to creating and helping to create housing here in San Francisco. And it's simple, and it's pretty simple, that their support makes our work possible. And would you please join me in thanking our sponsors? And if you have a chance to personally thank them, go up to them and say thanks. And as chair of SF-HAC, I'd also like to speak to those of you who might be interested in getting involved in our work. And if you know that the Housing Action Coalition is simply the sum total of our amazing community of member groups. Our strength comes from the diversity of our membership and the participation of member volunteers. And if you'd like to join our team of housing activists, we've left membership information on the tables, and please get in touch with us, and soon. So here's how we're going to break up this morning or set it up. In a few minutes, our panelists will begin a moderated discussion until about 10 o'clock. And then we can open it up for questions and answers, and for another half hour or so. Because of the size and complexity of an event like this, following the panelists' discussion, we'll be taking written questions from the floor. And if you submit a question, please flag down one of our wonderful volunteers who have index cards and pencils. I think they're over there and will probably be floating, and just raise your hands if you need both a card and a pencil also. And we'll get the questions, your questions, forwarded to our moderator, Roberta Achtenberg. On behalf of HAC, the Executive Committee, our members and sponsors, I'm truly excited about this event, and I know that you are going to really enjoy the exchange of information that you're about to hear. Now, I'd like to introduce to you our Executive Director, Tim Cullen.
Thank you. Thanks, Ruben. What an excellent turnout for these troubled times. I'm really delighted you've joined us today. But first things first, there's some amenities to observe here, and I'd like to welcome the many city decision makers who are with us today. President of the Planning Commission, Ron Miguel, who, by the way, is a founding member of the Housing Action Coalition and a past chair of ours. We've also got Planning Commissioners Bill Lee, Catherine Moore, Gwyneth Borden, and I believe our newish planning director, John Ram, is in here somewhere, and former planning director and our 2005 housing hero, Dean Macris. We've got, I think Phil Ting was around, and perhaps Michael Yarney, Deputy Director of Economic Development. We've got Sarah Dennis and some of our other good friends from the Planning Department. To all our brothers and sisters from the city of San Francisco, you honor us with your presence today. Second, I'd like to give a heartfelt thanks to all of our wonderful volunteers, young and old, who showed up at 6:30 this morning to help us put this show on. All of that for a breakfast and a chance to hear a great panel discussion. But before we get started, the California Code of Conduct for Small Nonprofits requires me to make a few remarks extolling our virtues and to recognize some of our key players. If you don't know us, the Housing Action Coalition is San Francisco's centrist voice for smart growth, transit-oriented development, and especially more solutions for housing affordability. Though not large, our membership has been growing steadily for 10 years. And in a city as politically difficult as ours, we have made small but noticeable differences in some of the toughest housing and land use debates. The HAC's work is done through its committees, and this is the appropriate time to acknowledge our remarkable committee chairs. Please hold your applause, it just goes to their heads. Our Regulatory and Legislative Affairs Committee, chaired by Steve Aiello, our delegate from Greenbelt Alliance. Our Project Review and Endorsement Committee, chaired by George Williams from SPUR. And our Outreach and Communications Committee, chaired by Trudy Loskatoff of North Point Public Affairs. These are the people who do a lot of the heavy lifting at the Housing Action Coalition. I'd also like to give thanks to Gary Downs at Pillsbury Winthrop, who helped me invite some of our speakers today. And finally, you should know that this event is taking place mainly because of the single-minded determination and hard work of our program manager, Kate Lefkowitz. Keep your eye on that woman, she's going places. So here it is. One of the most eagerly anticipated public forums in San Francisco in recent years. Great controversies from California's fossil record of the Central Valley's Miocene-Pliocene boundary. We're pleased to have with us today some of California's most eminent paleontologists who are going to examine this momentous and pressing issue. What? Oh, you knew that was coming. So. But seriously, when we envisioned this forum late last year, we liked the idea of using April Fool's Day to poke a little fun at the housing and economic landscape. But events have rapidly overtaken us. And as we survey the economic wreckage around us, scenarios that might have seemed far-fetched or possibly funny not long ago have in fact become the grim reality we face today. When we came up with our title earlier this year, the after the fall part wasn't hard. It was clear we're seeing an historic correction. It was the charting a new course part that it was a good deal murkier and has us stumped, frankly. It is our hope that our speakers today are going to help lay down some markers that will point us towards this new course. Now, it would take 40 minutes to give you the bios of the folks on this panel. These are some seriously talented and accomplished people. So I'll just identify them. You've got the abbreviated bios and the programs in front of you. So sitting from your left to your right are John Haveman, founding partner of Beacon Economics, Michael Novogradic, managing partner of Novogradic and Company, Stephen Fain, managing director of Citigroup Global Markets, Dr. Cynthia Kroll, senior regional economist at the Fisher Center for Real Estate and Urban Economics at Cal, Michael Covarrubias, CEO and chairman of TMG Partners, and finally our old friend Michael Cohen from the Mayor's Office of Economic and Workforce Development. My mother always told me to work with smart people and stay out of their way. So in that spirit, the last missing piece to get this thing rolling is to introduce our moderator. Roberta Achtenberg, I think, has a permanent listing on the SF Business Times roster as one of the 100 most influential businesswomen in the Bay Area. She's a former deputy secretary at HUD and, lest we forget, a former city supervisor. Will you please join me in giving a warm welcome to this distinguished panel and to our moderator?